of it, I knew it wasn't the anxiety and depression. The booze didn't cause the anxiety depression, but it was like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Okay.
Because the way, and I've done a lot of reading and listening to podcasts about it because I have to understand something if I'm going to tackle it.
Fair.
And I understood the way that it messed with my brain and my pleasure receptors and my dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
In that I have a pretty low resting dopamine, and when you introduce alcohol so much and your brain gets wired to say, "Oh, here's that chemical, boom, going straight to the pleasure center." Um, when you come off of it, then that dopamine level just goes way down. And so the normal level of anxiety, depression that I coped with and could deal with all of a sudden became like a chasm of just
Wow.
despair. It was awful.
Welcome to DFW Grit. I'm Dr. James Taylor, and I'm your host, and this is more than just a podcast. We dive into the stories of the movers, the shakers, the small business owners, the entrepreneurs, right here in the DFW Metroplex. This is your home for authentic, real stories that prove what happens when you don't back down. Let's get to work. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of DFW Grit. As always, I'm your host, Dr. James Taylor. Today, joining me, Mr. Kyle Lester. It's an interesting story. We've known each other for, well, like I said, Frankie's 8, so
Yeah. Has it been that long?
8 or 9 years, I would imagine.
Yeah, we're old, bro.
Yeah, a little bit. It'll happen. I mean,
Yeah.
I shaved mine off so you can't see the gray like you got on yours.
I do remember the first time I talked to you. We both worked out at DT. SOF. They went through like several name changes, but
They did.
yeah, like the first time I showed up for a morning workout at like 5 a.m. or 6, they had us go around and like introduce ourselves, and you said something like, "I'm James. I like to party." And then we were like, yeah, we did like a group workout, and you were like going hard, and once we were done, and I was almost out of breath, I was like, "And you said you like to party." And that was that. And yeah, and I guess I occasionally would see you at workouts and stuff. But yeah, that was
Dude,
an intense time.
The whole like, I don't recall that, but it did 100% seems like something I'd say, I will absolutely own it. Yeah, it's 5 a.m. We're going to get our ass kicked. Introduce yourself. James Taylor, like to party. Yeah, so cross paths in the gym from time to time, cross paths in the office.
Yep.
A little bit of a separation, if you will, as things will happen with friends, and we kind of go off in different directions. Yeah. You used to basically run the city of Colleyville, if memory serves, more or less.
Yeah, I ran the finance of the city of Colleyville. Yeah,
but then, as he will do, Zuckerberg has just been showing me random snippets of everybody's life, and you are part of everybody, so I see random snippets of your life.
Yeah,
and then we cross paths again at a different gym. I was dropping my kids off there or something.
Was it Lifetime?
No, it was over at D1. You were walking out of D1.
Oh yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
So dropping them off there, and then also in a couple of past episodes, I've interviewed people that I've met in the Fort Worth Dads group, and then you popped in there and started showing up a little bit more. And kind of one of the things that we're talking about, and we'll certainly get into this, is the guy that I knew 8 years ago is different than the guy that's sitting before me now.
Oh yeah.
And I was telling you, it's like, I don't know if this is a social media thing or an age thing, because like I said, I've never been as old as I am right now, but it definitely seems like at this stage in my life, whether it be myself or friends of mine, or hell, even people I don't necessarily know, but I just see snippets of on Facebook, it definitely seems like a lot of people are going through some, I'll say reinvention, but even as I say that now, it's like, it's a good word, but it's almost like I'll say it like this, like a reinvention with purpose.
Yeah,
right?
It's almost like
got tired of doing quote unquote the same old thing.
Yeah, it almost feels like like a midlife crisis, but a good one, and not a crisis, just sort of like a shift.
Yeah, that's perfect, because like again talking to other dads, the crisis word has come up, but nobody has ever been like, I don't like that, or I like that word though. Like it's not. I am in no way, shape, or form in a crisis. I've just made a decision to do more of what I like to do that serves me and allows me to serve others. It's like I said, I don't know if this is a 2025 thing. I don't know if this was a 41 years of age thing, because I don't know what 41-year-olds did in 97. Did they do the same thing? Like,
I I don't know.
right?
Yeah, I was too busy chasing chicks in high school in '97
Uh-huh.
and getting none of them.
No. Preach to the choir, my friend.
Yeah, I was not great at that. When I was in middle school, this is how
Well, you got a
terrible
ring
I
on your
was.
finger, you got one.
Yeah, I got one.
It
I
was a numbers game.
yeah, it really was. One stuck. No, I would do like, oh man, I'd like write notes and then have like poetry. It was so lame. Bad poetry
Which,
too. It's
well, I
terrible.
mean, to tie it to present day, you are also a musician,
I am.
which is just a poet with an instrument, is it
That's
not?
right. That's right. I guess I thought those girls would think it was much cooler, like I did, and they were like, "What the? Oh my gosh, this is crazy." So yeah, it was not. It was not good for me
Well, here,
in
do
that
me a
time.
favor. So we put a little smattering of the life of Kyle Lester, as far as I know it. Tell us, who are you?
I'm
What is your origin story? What do you?
I'm Kyle, man.
What's Kyle?
Um, Man, I'll try not to be too long-winded on it. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Uh, Kinda, heart of the metropolitanish Bible Belt, and so I was raised in went to a private school, grew up in the church. A lot of that kind of shaped, how I grew up. Um, very From a very young age, music meant the world to me. Just it connected, and so that's always been a huge part of it. Um, and I guess I was an athlete when I was a kid, so I was artsy but also athletic. I kind of, and being in a small private school, I was able to do all of those things, and I was good at them, so it was great. Went to college, and obviously the world just sort of opened up. I met
Hmm.
people who weren't like me, who didn't grow up like me, and when you go to a small private school, no matter where it is, it's almost like a homogenized population.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of the same, especially a small like religious private school. And so I went to Texas Christian University, which technically is a smaller private university, but I mean, you have people from all walks of life. I always wanted to help people is a kid in my career. That was super important to me because I'm a really empathetic person, which I've grown to love, even though it's kind of an Achilles heel
I'm gonna say
sometimes.
your face didn't say you loved it.
Yeah, it's good, but it also, you have to be able to balance it a
Uh
little
huh.
bit. And it took me freaking long time to figure out how to do that, to know when to like lean into that empathy and take on kind of the pain and the burden of others, and when to say I got to take care of myself. I can't put myself in that place.
Uh huh.
And that was hard. But anyway, so I majored. I sort of waffled around in a few majors, but I ended up majoring in social work, because I wanted to be, I think, like a therapist or a counselor or something. And throughout that, like, it just kind of slowly dawned on me, I don't really think this is quite the right thing, right life, right thing I want to do. So I shifted. I went to grad school for public administration, and kind of just found myself like mostly trying to find where I can make the biggest difference. And I saw that, finance people in public admin, were at the time, I guess, often, maybe not the finance people, but the governments themselves, they would make decisions and things, and I'd be like, that's just not a good long-term strat. And
Uh
so
huh.
I became a little more like, all right, if I have this thought in my head of how to put things where they need to be to make sure it's sustainable, maybe that's the way I can make a difference. And so just made little steps along the way and kind of fell into it. Now I'm a finance director of a city up here in North Texas. I've been finance director of two other cities that are fast growing, and it's great. I finally found one woman who liked the lame poem. Actually wrote her a song once, and it was a good song too. I was gonna play it at our wedding, but I was too excited, so I wrote it, recorded it, and came home and immediately showed her, and she kinda started tearing up, and I was like,
You
"Oh,
understood
oh,
that
she's the one."
You're one of those people that don't hang on to surprises.
It's hard for
I've
me
got this
to.
thing and I want you to have it right now.
It's so yeah, it's hard for me to. I wanna it's just it's that, like, that endorphin that
Mm-hmm.
hits that, like, "I did something good,"
Right.
you know? And, yeah, and that definitely was it. But, yeah, we've been married since 2008, so that's 16, 17 years?
Yeah. No, you're a
16, I
finance guy.
think.
Finance is numbers.
Yeah, I don't do head math.
Oh, that's fair.
I have a spreadsheet open at all times. Yeah, and so
Anniversary spreadsheet.
yeah.
Check.
Alright, yeah,
2025. That's
that's
another one.
sweet. With me for another year. And so we have a kid too. He's turning 7 in just a few days. So I've got her locked up till he's at least 18.
That's fair.
So that's good. And he's a sweetheart. And I obviously have a lot of hobbies. That's huge to me. I have to feel fulfilled in every part of my life, and so music, as I said, is a huge thing. I'm a 41-year-old man who plays in a pop rock band,
Hell yeah.
play bass, and I sing, write music, we record, we do little mini tours, some weekends and stuff. And then I stay active physically. I'm stupidly agreed to do a half marathon this year, which is a bonkers dumb decision, but I'm
When's the
doing it.
marathon? Oh, how many?
November,
Okay.
like 9th, I think, or 8th, one of those two. I should probably get that down before I show up and there's like all the like trash, and I'm like, oh, where did we go? So that'll be fun. In training for it, like I was never someone who liked running as a kid. I was a sprinter in high school and track. And so the short distances I was great at, but long stuff was just grueling for me. And I got into it probably 15 years ago for about a year, and it was great. And then I'm getting back into it now to do this training. And I'm thinking at some point it's going to click. I'm going to be like, yeah, this is nice. Where's that runner's high?
Right? I
Not
hear so much
happened,
about.
man. Not happened. It's not grueling, but it's a little tough.
It's absolutely repetitive.
Yeah, that's the worst part is like, and this is a common theme in my life. My brain doesn't shut up, and
Uh-huh.
so I can't just turn something off and go. Like one of our coaches, do you remember Jacob?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that quality about him. I swear that dude could be a Navy SEAL. He could just turn off his brain, the pain switch, all that, and just go and do it. And I'm like, I wish like I could do that, but I can't. Like I get bored and all that stuff. So that's probably the biggest
Yeah.
fight for
I mean,
that.
our friend Kadima, like he's told me on more than one occasion, oh, you'll do it one day. Dude, I don't, I can say with a very high degree of certainty, you're not going to catch me doing a long distance
Yeah.
anything. I am fervently a pick things up and put them back down kind of guy.
I get that way a lot. I think I'm gonna do this and then be like, "Alright, I'm done with running for a while until I forget how much I don't like it." And then I'll be like, "I'm gonna do an ultra marathon."
Right?
It's like, "Oh god, what do you
And now I've told
why?"
people about it, so I got to do it.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook. There's a record of it.
The band thing with the music. Now,
Mhm.
how long have you been in the band? Did you start the band?
This one, yeah, I was one of the 2 guys that started it. This one I've been in since I think 2016. So yeah, several years. I had been in high school. I had a crappy garage band. Um,
Got to start somewhere.
if any of the members of that old band are watching, I'm sorry that I called us crappy, but let's be
Let's
real.
be real.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it was not, but it was fun. It was great. And as you grow up, I was kind of like, all right, now I got to be an adult and not do this stuff. And at some point, I was like, well, fuck it. I like doing it. I have
Uh
time
huh.
to. So I just started like playing with people around. I was in a few bands, and I auditioned for one band, and I was their bass player for a small period of time. And that's where I met this other guy, and we decided to start the Culper Ring is our band name. And it's been great, man. It's been fulfilling and just a nice outlet.
Now,
So
so
it's
have you
been
been
good.
doing like the band stuff like ever since college, like your adult life, if you will, or
Uh,
did this kind of swing in a little later after you?
it was later. It's probably in my like 30s, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, probably when I started to really try to, do that as kind of a like a real hobby, like
Mm-hmm.
something I give time and resources to. Um
So you
So
just
yeah,
kind of just strum randomly prior to 30 then?
pretty much. I would have an acoustic guitar and a couple of bass guitars, and I would just kind of pick them up and play, and there'd be like times where like I'd be working through something mentally or emotionally, and that was my outlet. So I would write songs and be like, all right, great, I wrote them,
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing I'm going to do with them. And so um I thought about like recording them on acoustic, and I just I missed the band thing. So I found that outlet, and get to write and actually have that stuff out there now. So it's yeah, it's one of my loves, I'd say.
How many shows do you guys typically do in a year?
Oh man,
Or
that's a
do you
good
have one
question.
coming up?
Well, we have one coming up in September at Haltom Theater.
Okay.
It's like this old, movie theater. I don't know when it was built, but it's just got one huge screen in this big auditorium. It's a great venue. And we played there several times, but it's in September, sometime early to mid September. And that's going to be a fun show. But we probably play, I don't know, maybe on average once a month, but they're kind of grouped. Usually we do like two shows back to back at a
Mm-hmm.
time, sort of thing. And we don't play up here all the time. Like usually we'll go to Houston, Austin. Actually played South by Southwest at one point.
That's cool.
Much it sounds really cool. But we were just one of the bands that was kind of thrown in, small venue, and we played at an odd time. It was very fun. But
Mm-hmm.
we played San Antonio. We actually went up and did a festival in North Carolina, and then hit Ohio, Columbus on the way back through. Sleeping in a van the whole time. So stuff you really shouldn't be doing in your
I was
40s.
gonna say, like, it was just when you had a kid?
Yeah.
Was the family with you, or did they stay here?
No, they stay here. My wife's very similar to me. Her hobby is community theater. So
Okay.
she's an actress and a singer, beautiful, really talented, and so her stuff when she's in a play or a musical, like it's kind of all at once. Like her rehearsals are like back to back,
Mm-hmm.
and so we just kind of sync up our schedules, and we make sure that we still have time for each other and still have time for Logan and everyone's taken care of. But we each know how important those hobbies are to each other. And so we just sort of make it work. And it's been great.
I'm gonna share a little story that popped into my head when you said that. Do you remember at some point in time we ran into each other at Italiani's? We were at the bar.
Um, you paid for my dinner.
Sounds like something I would do.
Thank you for
You're
that. I
welcome.
think I messaged you on Facebook, but that was a stand up thing. I would have ordered more if I knew you were doing that.
That's not why I brought this up, but you're welcome.
But yes, I do remember that.
So I was sitting there, and I don't remember who I messaged, but you were with your wife, and it was when you said my wife is beautiful. That's when the story clicked in, because she is.
Yeah,
And
she's
I remember
gorgeous.
going, I don't know if that's his wife. I don't know if I've ever met his wife. So I literally, and I say this with love,
Yeah.
I reached out to a couple people after that, like, and just asked around, like, hey, did Kyle get a divorce? Is he with somebody new? But not realizing I'd never actually met your wife. I didn't know
Yeah.
what she looked like. I just saw you with a beautiful woman and
Mhm.
thought, that a boy. And then, like, I
Yeah.
went online. I'm like, no. I mean, it says he's married. His new wife? No. So currently, to
Yeah.
set the record straight, same wife.
Same
We've only
wife.
had one.
Yeah, only one.
Yeah, one time at Italian, I was like, dude, I think he got remarried, not knowing that I'd never met your wife before.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think in most relationships, one person marries up and the other kind of marries down, and I'm definitely the one
We're
who
in those
married up.
relationships. Oddly, a lot of similarities. There's that. I'm also terrible at holding on to surprises. My proposal with Tamika was completely unplanned because the ring, like, I had a plan, but it was too far in advance for the ring in my hand. It's like, let's just do it now.
Oh, I know that. What did you do?
Just I proposed to her in her living room in college, and it
Okay.
was, oddly enough, her roommate at the time. She knew that I was terrible at holding on to surprises. Like every anniversary present or any present that I had was always given earlier than it should have been. And we were making Christmas ornaments in her living room, and the ring was with me. And it's like, oh wait, let me go grab something. And then I walk back into the living room, and I've got it behind my back. And her roommate goes like, "It's not Christmas yet. You can't give presents yet." And she's literally getting like angry. And I'm like, shut up. Like, and then so I got down on the knee, like in her living room there, But again, same thing. Like, fuck it. I have it.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it now. So yeah, lot of
that's funny.
similarities. We both outkicked our coverage. We both suck at following timelines for Christmas presents. Um, so go. Sorry, that question or that story about
Yeah, yeah,
your
that's a good
your
one.
one and only wife, who I thought was your new wife, popped into
Or
my
my
head.
mistress
Yeah, right.
seeing on the side. If that was the case, man, I definitely would have mismanaged that. Taking her to a restaurant like within 5 miles of my house. My wife walks in. I'm like, "Oh
Whoa.
shit!
It's not what it looks like. I swear.
I thought we were
Right.
polyamorous."
Oh, good times. So, um, I want to kind of tie this in here. So you went on tour in your, how old were you? Did you say
Uh, which one?
the Ohio one, the one you just
Oh,
mentioned?
I was this. I was probably 40. I was sober, so I was 40 at least. Um, or 41. No, I think it was 41. Yeah, I think it was last year after I. So somewhere between February and like July. Maybe it was in the fall. I don't know. It's sometime in
Okay.
2024. I think.
Well, it's fine because you touched on there. You said you were sober
Mhm.
because going back, to the start of this thing, like it seems like there's something going on at this point in my life and the people that I know where people are making changes for themselves. And
Yes.
I'm thinking band guy, but okay, now he's sober and now he's running marathons. Like, what's and we talked off camera too. Like it seems like, and I don't know if this is a 40-year-old thing or if this is a 2025 thing, but it seems like alcohol in general, let's say, is falling out of favor
Yeah.
with
Absolutely.
a lot of people. And I'd be lying if I didn't also say like, I've had that own uh, struggle, if you will,
Mhm.
not struggle with excessive drinking per se, but like maybe I can probably cut back. I've done the baby foot, the put a toe in the water, like I'll do a dry January.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for 30 days. Why did you decide to?
Long story, but in short, it just wasn't serving me anymore. I had, as I mentioned, I have an overactive brain and anxiety and depression and ADHD. All of those things kind of collide at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point over time, as I was kind of trying to become an adult or whatever, had my first career job, and all those obligations sort of, came in. It became a coping mechanism without me realizing it was.
Mm.
Um, and over, I guess I drank for not quite 20 years or something like that. And it didn't like, and I've actually been to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and I've got friends who are sober, and there are people who like, from the second they took a drink of something, bam, off to the races,
Yeah.
and they were bottom barrel drunk, within a couple of weeks. That was not my thing. It was very, very slow. And it was slow because it didn't have this hold of me of like alcohol good, get all of it. It was just like, I don't feel good. Um, I'll take the edge off, as it
Mm-hmm.
were, which is something that, like, growing up in the 90s, it was all over everywhere, like
Yeah.
movies, TV shows, even the
Yeah.
phrase "take the edge off."
Dad would
Everyone
come
knew,
home, sit down, and crack a beer.
right? And
Beer,
then
children,
and
and
my
all
dad, and my
set.
mom actually never drank. It was never in the house, but yeah, it kind of just became the ritual and thing I did, and the more I did it, it became like it was never like I would drink in the morning or at work or anything, never to that degree, but at night, I would have a couple glasses of wine, and as you do when you develop tolerance, you have to drink a little bit more to get
Yeah.
get that feeling. And as I get older, my other any other coping mechanisms I had just weren't doing the trick as well. I didn't have as much time to do those things, and so it just became way more important. This like albatross of something that was kind of propping me up more than it should have, and then it started being its own problem, not from a stand. I never had a DUI or wrecked a relationship, but my mentally I was all over the place. My anxiety was crazy, and unpredictable. I was honestly just pretty miserable. And through listening to a lot of other stories, of people, and I was kind of in denial that I needed to do something about it because I didn't have those red flags that are
Yeah.
like so publicized, when you have to go to jail or the hospital or
Uh-huh.
you get a divorce or you, God forbid, hit your kid or something like that. None of that. It was all internal for me. And when I realized I'm miserable for this stupid thing, it just it kind of I was finally able to let it go and just be like, I'm this is not my limit. Like I'm gonna push past this and really seek out what makes me feel like I have a balanced, happy life so that when I get up in the morning, I'm like, "Oh, it's fucking awesome. It's another day," And I feel that more and more now. So it was getting something out of my way that at one point served, uh, I guess, a purpose,
Mhm.
but had long since outgrown it.
Do you recall the time or times when you kind of started to realize that? Because again, like you said, like you
Yeah.
didn't have a singular event.
No. It would have
Like, well, I guess
almost.
when did you, or maybe like, do you recall what it was like when you kind of made that connection? Like, hey, maybe my anxiety is because of the booze. Maybe my depression would be better
Yeah.
if I like.
All of it, I knew it wasn't the anxiety and depression. The booze didn't cause the anxiety depression, but it was like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Okay,
Because the way, and I've done a lot of reading and listening to podcasts about it because I have to understand something if I'm going to tackle it.
fair.
And I understood the way that it messed with my brain and my pleasure receptors and my dopamine.
Hmm.
In that I have a pretty low resting dopamine, and when you introduce alcohol so much, and your brain gets wired to say, "Oh, here's that chemical, boom, going straight to the pleasure center." Um, when you come off of it, then that dopamine level just goes way down. And so the normal level of anxiety, depression that I coped with and could deal with all of a sudden became like a chasm of just
Wow.
despair. It was awful. Hard to describe the type of mental pain I felt, but it was really terrible. And so there wasn't one thing that led me there. It was just step by step, one bad day after another, till I eventually just thought every other thing, I tried to change so many other things in my life so I wouldn't have to address this one.
Mm,
And none of them had the effect that I hoped. And so I said, look, I'm a data guy. If the data tells me one thing, I'm going to do that in my
mhm.
work. And so in my private life, I started saying, everything is telling me this is something you should at least try quitting, uh, and yet you haven't done it. And so it just became the logical choice to make, and I just reached a point where I was just tired of those ups and downs, and had enough of it. And you know, I wasn't doing. I had done a couple dry Januaries and stuff. Some of them I made, some of them I didn't, and those were always tough because I knew that I was going to go back to it, and so I
Interesting.
didn't have this. I'm kind of an all or none person
Yeah.
on a lot of stuff, and so um mentally, through those times that I would kind of quit for a little bit, I would always think, well, okay, you've done 2 weeks, come on, isn't that good? And and so finally when I was like, no, I'm just done. Like once I hit that point and just something clicked, and I wish I could tell you specifically what it is. It was just over time. Um but once I hit that point, it was like, no, that's it, I'm done. I knew enough. I'd already read enough books on quitting and on the effect of alcohol, and I had a couple of friends who were sober, and so I had a lot of support to reach out and to help me understand what to expect and how to do this the smart way and the way
Hmm.
that's lasting. And once that happened, I haven't looked back. I've been sober for almost 17 months now.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really cool. I did go to AA for like the first 8 months, mostly just to get to know, just to be in that environment.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it. I didn't want to always talk about it with my wife, lest it becomes some other thing I have to talk her ear off about all the time.
Hmm.
And so I'd go to those meetings, a couple evenings a week, and it was nice to, no matter what place they were at, if they had been like this bottom barrel drunk, or if they had been more like me, or if they had a bunch of DUIs, whatever, those are details. The basic core of it always ended up being the same. That alcohol helped them cope with something in their head that wasn't working, and then it became its own problem. And so quitting was great, but all quitting does is it gets that out of the way so you can address why you were drinking in the first place. Um, so I did that. I went to therapy and got on the right dosage and kind of mental health meds.
Mhm.
And that combination, and then also paying attention to the things that actually bring me joy. You know, imagine that. All of that is just sort of wrapped up into this. I'm making my life what I want it to be. I'm the only one who has to live it. So why am I letting some preconceived paradigm or idea from anyone else or society tell me what I should be doing? I'm going to live my life the way I want to. And so sobriety isn't like who I am. It's just a part of it. It's a part of me saying this just doesn't serve me anymore. I don't want to
Mhm.
do it. And that's that.